Chapter 11. Michael, honey, can you hear me? Michael's vision was blurry as he tried to focus on the person in front of him. He heard another voice, a man. It may take some time, Mrs. Holder. Everyone sounded so far away. Michael, it's Mom. I'm right here. Michael felt a warm drop of liquid land on his arm, and he looked up to see into his mother's eyes. Mom? Michael could hear the simple question in his head, but the sound that came out was an inaudible murmur. Michael, you stay right here. You hear me? Stay with me. His mom's voice was desperate, pleading. He tried to grab her hand, but his arm wouldn't obey. His vision and hearing seemed to come and go, closer and farther, softer and louder. Mom? This time the question came out, and he looked up to focus in her face. Mom, I'm okay. Oh, yes, Michael. Yes, honey, you're okay. You're going to be just fine. No, I mean I'm going to be okay. My future. I don't know how I'll pay for college, but I'll figure it out. I have hope. I have vision. I saw places you never... Whoa there, young man. The doctor put his hand on Michael's shoulder. You'll have plenty of time to explain. Rest for now. Dad, where's Dad? How's Dad? He's doing great, honey. Michael's mom smiled, the biggest smile he'd ever seen on her face in a long time. He's doing wonderfully. The surgery was a success. Michael smiled. In a matter of seconds, Michael's hand cleared and his vision sharpened. He looked around, and seeing his mom and a short man in a white coat huddled over him, asked, Where am I? You're in the hospital, son, his mom answered. We're in an accident. Am I? You will recover, Michael. The short man moved forward. I'm Dr. Green. You're a very lucky young man. I went down an embankment. Yes, you did, the doctor replied, and the fact that you can remember anything at all is a very good sign. You have a severe concussion. Do you remember anything else? I had been at the literary building. His mom tilted her head. No, honey, you were going to look for a job. The doctor placed his hand on his shoulder. Mrs. Holder, don't worry, his thoughts will be jumbled for a while. He smiled at Michael and shrugged. That is one nasty look to the head you have, but all in all, you were in very good shape. I can honestly say I've never seen anything like it. The paramedic said you had been thrown from the car, and we haven't found as much as a broken bone. Yes, sir, I'd say that you were one extremely lucky young man. As the doctor went on about what to expect as Michael healed, and some medicines he could prescribe, Michael looked at his mom. Yes, he was one lucky young man. His dad was recovering well. His mom was by his side, and he, Michael Holder, had a bright future ahead of him. Then a bit of disappointment set over him. Was it all just a dream? It had seemed real. He felt like he had been there. He could feel the warm air on his face in Potsdam. He could smell the musty attic in Amsterdam. And he certainly felt the seasickness on board the Santa Maria. But no one would ever believe him. Michael knew, and he wasn't sure he believed himself. But that's not important, Michael thought. What did I learn? Even if it had been a dream, did those 7 decisions have less value? Michael smiled as he recalled the words of each key phrase. Michael, honey? Michael looked up from his thoughts. I'm going to tell Dad you're awake. He's just down the hall in a regular room now. Michael couldn't wait to see his dad. He had so much to tell him, and his forgiveness to ask. Wait, Mom? Yes, Michael. I'm sorry. It was forgiven in an instant. Thanks, Mom, Michael smiled. Oh, and Mom? Yes, Michael. Do you have any paper? I believe there's some in your backpack. They brought it with you in the ambulance. The clothes you were wearing are in there, too. His mom picked up the bag and laid it gently on Michael's bed. For you, my darling, she said in her exaggerated British accent. Michael grinned. Need anything else, she asked. Nope, I have all I need. Michael's mom blew him a kiss as she walked out the door. Michael watched until the door was completely closed, then feverishly began searching his backpack for paper. He pulled out a notebook and reached back into search the depths of the bag for a pen. As he dug through candy wrappers and paper wads, a familiar texture brushed his hand. Michael stopped and held this item in his hand. Tears welled up in his eyes as he removed a small canvas pouch. It was navy blue and had been sewn from stout cloth, but the rough treatment it had received had worn the pouch to a moleskin softness. It was beaten and threadbare, but still handsome, regal in a sense, the possession of an officer. The 2 gold buttons that closed the flap were metal, engraved with the image of an eagle, and there, just above the buttons, embroidered on the flag, were crossed swords, the symbol of a fighting man.